Do you ever feel like you're in a constant loop of creating content, but it's getting you absolutely nowhere? Yeah, a lot of people can relate. Unfortunately, there has been a big lie when it comes to marketing online and content creation. And it's led people to believe that if you just master social media and get on every platform and take out your phone and document your life, you will all of a sudden be making it rain. And that is a big, big problem when it comes to the creator economy. Here's the thing. The creator economy and content creation as a whole is a wonderful thing if it's being used properly. But if it's not, it's actually killing more creatives than it is rewarding them. In a 2023 study, 79% of creators had experienced burnout, and that figure only increased among creators who are struggling to monetize their platform. And the stats about monetization are even more shocking. 48% earn less than $1,000 a month from their creative work, 15% earn between $1,000 and $2,500 a month, and 37% earn a full-time income over $2,500 a month. I myself went through a massive burnout in 2017. I've talked about it often. And part of the reason that I ended up with such severe burnout and in the hospital was because of this constant hamster wheel of content creation. I was creating general content, posting it on social media, having some content work and other content not. And that led me into a constant cycle of trying to reinvent the wheel and create more content. And this led to major burnout. And ultimately, it took my eye off the prize of what I actually was trying to achieve, which was I was a business owner at the time. I had a marketing consultancy, and I just wanted to grow that consultancy and generate clients and ultimately earn a bigger income. But constant content creation was taking me away from the ability to actually do that. So not only was I burnt out, I was frustrated with the lack of true business growth that I was seeing. And that's when I decided to change everything. So how did I go from burnt out, busy, and frustrated to building a successful online education business that has continued to scale in revenue since then, all while doing a lot less and posting even less on social media? I'm going to share with you the core principles of what I like to call smart marketing, which means doing less to achieve more revenue and results. And you do so without being limited by time, capacity, or hours in the day, without staying on top of social media trends, without worrying about algorithm changes for needing to go viral, and without posting content all the time on social media. And also, this very much allows you to grow without having to use paid advertising. By the way, I made a PDF version of this video to make it super easy to digest and to actually implement. So if you want that, just comment below this video with "Give me the guide, please," and we will send you the link to do so. Let's start by understanding that first and foremost, at the root of it, there are really two paths you can take when you start marketing online. You are either a content creator or you are a business owner using content to market your business. And why these look so different is because a content creator is mainly focused on monetizing through the amount of eyeballs and the level of engagement that they get on their content. Whereas a business owner sees monetization come from the accuracy and the intent of the eyeballs on their content. We're going to focus on the path of the business owner because truthfully, it's so much easier to control, and you don't have to stress out about or worry about how many likes you're getting or how many views you've got. Ultimately, all you have to concern yourself with is the accuracy of your audience. So who is actually watching the video, and is it the person who's ultimately going to become a client or a customer? So the first principle is product first, content second. If you don't know ultimately what you are selling or what you are trying to monetize as a business owner, then you're going to end up in that constant hamster wheel of content creation, and it's going to have you feeling like you're just sitting there spinning your wheels, stuck and frustrated and wasting your time. So in my case, I have an online education business. So I have an online program where I support experts in smashing the income and impact ceiling by being able to reach a global audience with their own online program. We help people that are dancers, doctors, nurses, accountants, lawyers, DJs, and everything in between. So in order to market smarter and not harder and do a lot less, every piece of content that you create needs to be created with the end goal in mind. What is the purpose and the intent of that content? And who do you intend on seeing that content? Who is the ideal client or customer that you want to see that content? So doing this allows you to create a lot less content, but content with a higher intent, meaning you know who you're creating it for and ultimately what you want to be known for. In order to do this correctly, you need to make sure that you have what we call a unique selling proposition. And that truly is a statement that summarizes who you're serving and how you're serving them with your unique angle, expertise, or intel. And that sets you up to create content that is very unique to you and is going to be attractive and magnetic to the right person and not to everybody who may or may not be interested ultimately in what you're selling, but to the person who actually needs you and your product or service the most. Now, why is this so important? Because it allows you to understand the algorithm to make it work for you when you aren't working. And we do this by understanding how the algorithm actually works. The algorithm can only work for you when it has the right information and it's being fed the right information by you and also by the people that are engaging with the content you're creating. So how does that work? Well, it really comes down to understanding how you crack the code of any algorithm, and that comes down to this flywheel. So you have to understand who the ideal consumer is. You make very relevant content for that ideal consumer. That then informs the algorithm exactly who you're trying to reach and what you want to be known for. And then the algorithm on any social platform is going to then use its internal traffic sources to categorize you and serve you and your content to more people just like that without you having to do any additional or extra work outside of just creating hyper relevant content for your ideal client or consumer, who then engages with that content and feeds the algorithm with even more information to tell it you're reaching the right people and to help you reach more people just like that. You really want to think about this as a bullseye target. Your goal is to target your exact client at the place that they need you the most, that bullseye moment. In order to do this, you need to know exactly where your ideal client is when they're most likely to take action and they're ready to actually solve the problem. Because if they have that high level of intent, they're going to have a high level of engagement, which is ultimately going to support your content because you're going to have eyeballs and attention on that content. So the way that I like to think about it is I think about it in terms of that ideal client journey, how they go from a stranger on the internet to actually wanting to work with you through your content. And I like to think about it visually as really on the sidelines, dipping their toe in and then fully jumping in. So I like to think of somebody standing on the side of the pool. They're kind of at a farther distance away from being able to make the decision to actually get help or get the product or service that you provide. So creating content for that person is going to create a longer process to actually getting clients and consumers. Whereas the person who's dipping their toe in, they're a little bit more warmed up. Making content for that person is going to shorten the process slightly, but it's not necessarily meeting them exactly where they are, where they need to make the decision. Whereas making content for the person who's ready to jump in, that's going to create a very short sales cycle, taking them from finding your content to ultimately making the decision to invest or purchase what you have to offer. To give you an example of this, I'm going to use one of my clients, Allison. So Allison worked as a nurse and a lactation consultant. She has 3 young boys and a husband who's active duty in the US Army. And Allison wanted to find a way to generate an income without having to be location or time dependent. Allison created an online program using our method. And her unique selling proposition is we help career-driven breastfeeding moms go from feeling anxious about their milk supply and unsure about how to navigate pumping to effectively managing their milk supply with a breast pump so that they can pump fast and efficiently at work to thrive in their career and breastfeed as long as they choose to. Now, for Allison to meet her client where they're at a place where they're actually ready to make the choice to invest and to seek out help, and it's going to convert her content into clients in the most efficient way, she would not want to make content on how to breastfeed for beginners. Her ideal client is already in the process of breastfeeding, so that would put her far away from the target. And she knows that the biggest pain her client is facing is milk supply. So making a piece of content on how to maintain and increase your milk supply after going back to work is perfect for her ideal client. So how can you identify the best content to create for your ideal client that's actually going to convert into paying clients and customers so you can make less content and get much more out of the content you are creating? The easiest way to do this truly is to create a pain list. So I want you to create a list of all of the things that your most ideal client is struggling with when they are at the point where they are ready to make the decision to invest in the solution that you have. And the reality is, by doing that, you will have an entire list of perfect content topics to create on the platform of your choice. And the major benefit of being so precise with who exactly you're targeting and the topics you're creating is that not only can you create less content and get more from that content, you also focus much less on production value and you focus much more on the value to the viewer that you are trying to reach. I filmed the majority of my content for the first couple of years with this webcam right here. And today I've been using the same setup and same camera for years. And the truth is, I barely know how to use it. This is my very simple setup that I shoot all of my YouTube videos with. It doesn't require me to have someone filming me. It doesn't require me to have a fancy setup. It's simplistic, and simplistic is all that matters when the value of the content you're creating is high, not necessarily the production value of the content you're creating. And outside of actually creating content, smart marketing comes down to understanding that it is all about depth, not width. What I mean by that is you are going deep with the people that need you. You are not trying to appeal to the masses, because ultimately that only confuses the algorithm. It confuses the reach you're able to get, and it makes it really chaotic for you. And so in terms of depth itself, what I mean by that is, yes, you're making content specifically for who you want to serve, but also you're really speaking to those people. So I spend, a few minutes every single day, and I go into places where I know my ideal client is looking for a solution or looking for an answer. And I'll go in and like people's comments. I'll comment back. I'll provide answers or solutions to questions they might have in a comment section on a related page or account. And I'm there to provide value and service. That allows you to build authority without actually having to create more content at all, because what you're doing is you're building connections and relationships. And beyond that, doing direct messages to people who do decide to engage with you and follow you, and simply saying, thanks so much for being here. And thanks so much for deciding to follow me. I'd love to know, how can I be of service to you? How can I provide value to you? That goes so far in a time when people are focused on growth, and trying to grow this huge audience. Going deep with people and truly connecting on that one-to-one level not only gives you an advantage in the algorithm, because it shows the algorithm that you're actually connecting with these folks. So you should show more content to these folks, or the algorithm should show more content to these folks. But it also allows you to truly understand who you're serving even better and have a never-ending list of content ideas, because they're being hand-delivered to you by those people. Now, to fully tie this all together, when it comes down to creating content and messaging that is perfect for your ideal client, it really comes down to creating content that provides a clear idea of what the pain or problem is that they're facing, a solution to that pain or problem, and then a clear call to action to work with you in some way, shape, or form, whether that is by offering up your product or service or by joining your email list, whatever it may be. It's taking that person from a stranger to being a part of your community. Whether they're ready to buy right now or they're ready to buy eventually, they become part of your community so they don't forget who you are and you stay top of mind as the authority in your industry. And in order to do this, we leverage something called the audience ownership trifecta. So that means you have your social platform, you have relevant content, and from that relevant content, you are getting people into your email list. So you're collecting their email address so that you now own your audience. You're not relying on the algorithm to serve you to more people. If I strictly relied on social media platforms to serve me to the right people, I would be kind of screwed. Why this works so well is that when you create new content, you're not just hoping that it's seen in the algorithm. You actually can send that content to your email list of highly engaged, hyper relevant, ideal potential clients, and they're going to be super interested in the content you've created. So it's going to drive a flood of people to engage with it, which then tells the algorithm it's great content, and it pushes it further and to more people who are just like that on that platform. And that allows your content to work for you even when you're not working, which again creates a completely unfair advantage. And that brings me to the importance of understanding pillar platforms. So I am not on a bunch of different social media platforms. I haven't hopped onto a new social media platform in a very long time, because I know that all I need to succeed in my business and to sustain our revenue and our growth and my team is email list and YouTube. Those are the two core pillar platforms. So YouTube drives folks to our email list. Our email list, we're then able to connect with regularly. We're able to nurture until people are at a place where they go, you know what, I actually really would like to work with you, but at least they're in our realm, they're in our world. So understanding how this works, I want to show you the key pillars of smart marketing. So first and foremost, you have your offers, whatever you are selling to your ideal client. And then you have your lead generation. So that's going to come from your pillar platform. So what I've found to be the most effective way to generate leads is using YouTube. And I'll explain why in just a second. From YouTube, we then build our email list. And so we do one YouTube video a week, and we have 2 to 3 emails to our list every week. From there, we are driving those people to actually create sales for the business. Now, why is YouTube so powerful? Because it's essentially free advertising and free traffic if you use it in the right way as a business owner. And what I mean by that is I am not on YouTube to go viral. I am not on YouTube to reach as many people as possible. I'm on YouTube to reach the right people who need my help the most. For instance, you who's watching right now. And what that means is I know I'm creating content around the pains of my ideal client, as we spoke about earlier. So I'm showing up everywhere that they're looking. So the easiest way to illustrate this example is to see that if I create a video on how to create an online course, it generates traffic from all over the world, mainly through YouTube search and Google search. So if I go back into my YouTube channel, I can see that search terms like how to create an online course, how to make a course are all topics that my ideal viewer and client is seeking out. And that is how they're landing on my videos and my content. So that traffic is coming from YouTube search and Google search primarily. And what that means is that anyone in the world who's searching how to make a course, how to build an online course, etc., they are finding my content and ultimately my business, watching the video. And then from there, we're able to capture them onto our email list, which gives us a big, huge pipeline of potential clients for the business. And that's how I've been able to serve clients in over 47 different countries, all from the comfort of my home in Canada. And the beauty of being super intentional with that pillar content on my pillar platform of YouTube is that that one piece of content, and I create generally 36 to 38 videos a year here on YouTube, but 3 a month, which isn't a lot of content. And that content then turns into what we call micro content. So we're not reinventing the wheel. I'm not constantly thinking of new ideas to post on other platforms. I just use the pillar piece of content that I have on YouTube. I take the script, I use things like ChatGPT, our team uses it to then turn it into long form, short form, micro pieces of content that we can leverage across platforms to expand our reach without doing any more work. And the biggest key to smart marketing is absolutely hands down, data collection. Data needs to be your best friend. When I say that, I mean that if you don't know what's working, and if you don't know what's actually driving leads and sales in your business, then you are going to continue on that hamster wheel of content creation and drive yourself crazy. We know that retention is our biggest metric to success when it comes to our content creation. Are people engaged in our content? Are they watching it? Are they watching it from start to finish? That's the biggest metric of success. So I look at that above anything else. And when I see that we have high retention, I know that I then have hit on a topic that is very popular with our ideal client. And that allows me to go, okay, well, I'm going to double down and focus on that content topic and make more content just like it. And that allows me to attract more and more of the right people and the right ideal clients and customers into our business. So you always want to look at which pieces of content have the best metrics, but not necessarily the amount of likes or views or etc., but really the best retention, the best demographics. So are you reaching the right people and the right age range and the right places? Look at those metrics thoroughly. Is it landing with the people that you want it to land with? That's the most important. And also looking at not just numbers, but looking at qualitative feedback. And what that means is which pieces of content are getting the most engaging, rich comments on them. Those are the pieces of content to also pay close attention to because it is getting that high engagement. And high engagement tells you that there's high intent from the person watching to truly seek out help. And they may just be the person that needs you the most and that you have the highest impact on if you provide them with your service, your offer that you know can get them the result that they're seeking. The key here is once you know your ideal client and what your ideal client likes and engages with the most, that is the greatest content creation hack of all time to do less, but ultimately get more in return from the content you are creating so you can stop spinning your wheels. So smart marketing truly does come down to creating less content with a very high intent behind each piece of content that you create so it is hyper relevant for the perfect client that you want to reach and that you want to have an impact on. By the way, As I mentioned, I've created a free PDF version of this video so you can take it, study it, and implement it in your business. So just comment below with "Give me the guide, please," and we'll give you that link. And we've also put the link to download it in the description below. Be sure to comment with your light bulb moments from this video, and I hope that it leads you to marketing smarter and not harder. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.